Hello, my name is Mia. I'm 30 years old. I'm a wife. I'm someone who feels deeply, gentle, soft-spoken, and sometimes a little too sensitive. 3 months ago, something shifted in my life. Not loudly, but deeply and quietly. At that time, I was working at a job that looked stable from the outside, but inside it was a place where I slowly forgot who I was. Every day, I worked hard. I stayed late. I brought my laptop home. I worked into the night. People might have thought, she's responsible, she's dedicated. But I knew the truth. I wasn't growing. I wasn't learning. I was just surviving. That job wasn't helping me become better. It wasn't a place for growth. It was a place where my energy was slowly being used up without giving anything meaningful back. No new skills, no inspiration, just exhaustion. Each task felt like running in a circle. No matter how much effort I gave, nothing really changed. And the worst part? No one seemed to notice. There were no kind words, no honest feedback, no "you've done well," only silence, pressure, and a growing emptiness inside me. One evening, after another long day, I sat on the edge of my bed. The light was off. The house was quiet. And in that stillness, I heard my heart speak, softly but clearly, "This is not the life I want." And so I quit. It wasn't planned, it wasn't safe, but it was necessary. My husband didn't take it easily. "You should have waited," he said gently. "At least find something else first." I understood. I really did. But at that moment, I didn't want to wait for life to change. I wanted to choose change. That night, I lay in bed facing the wall. I didn't speak. I just cried softly into my pillow. It wasn't because I regretted quitting. It was because I was scared. No job, no income, no clear next step. Just a quiet hope that I had done the right thing. In English, there's a phrase, a leap of faith. That's what I did. I jumped. With faith, but also fear. The days after were quiet but heavy. I searched for jobs online. Every day I hoped. Every day I waited. But it was close to the new year. Most companies had paused their hiring. A few interviews came, but the offers didn't feel right. Something in my heart said, not this one. And so I said no. Slowly my energy faded. My confidence lowered. I began to wonder if I had made a mistake. Each morning I woke up and asked myself, was I wrong to walk away? But deep down, I still believed. If it's not a place for me to grow, then it's not my place at all. One morning, I sat by the window with a warm cup of tea. The room was quiet. Outside, the sky was soft and gray. I had checked all the job websites again. There was nothing new. Still the same silence. Suddenly, my phone buzzed. It was a message from my husband. No words, just a few links. All the links were job posts at banks. I looked at the links for a long time. My hand didn't move. Inside, a small voice whispered, "You can't do this. You're not good enough." Bank jobs sounded serious, important, competitive. I thought banks were for people who were strong, smart, and confident. And me? I was soft, quiet. I liked slow mornings, calm spaces, warm tea. I had never imagined myself working at a bank, but after a while, I clicked one of the links. I read the job post, slowly. Then I clicked apply. Not because I believed I could get the job, but because I had nothing to lose. That night, I told my husband I applied to a bank. He looked up, a little surprised. Then he smiled. "Good," he said. "Let's see what happens." That night, I couldn't sleep. So many questions filled my mind. What if they don't call? What if they do call and I fail? What if I'm just wasting my time? A few days later, I got an email. "You are invited to an interview." My heart jumped. And then I felt afraid. Why me? What if I say the wrong thing? What if I can't answer their questions? But deep inside, something warm stayed with me. A little hope, a little light. I started to prepare. I read about the bank. I watched videos. I wrote down common questions. I practiced answers in front of a mirror. I didn't have big words. I didn't have perfect grammar, but I had my story. I had honesty. And every night I told myself, if this job is for me, it will be mine. And if not, that's okay too. When I got the email about the interview, I didn't smile. I didn't jump. I just looked at the screen and read it again. You are invited to an interview at the bank on. I didn't know what to feel. My heart was heavy. It felt like standing in front of a big door. I didn't know what was behind it or if I could open it. I closed my eyes and told myself, even if I'm scared, I will try. That evening, I opened my old files and wrote down my skills and experience. But when I looked at them, I felt sad. Nothing I had seemed useful for a job in a bank. I had no background in finance. I had never worked in a bank before. I felt small. But then I thought, if I don't have the skills, I will learn. I made a plan. Every day I would watch videos about banking, take notes, practice English, learn new words, answer questions out loud. My husband didn't say much, but he helped me. He sent me videos. He asked questions. He reminded me to stay strong. One day I said, this video is boring. I want to stop. He smiled. Maybe the best part is at the end, he said. Let's finish it. He was right. That video taught me something new. After that, I promised to be patient. Each day, I studied. The light on my desk stayed on. My notebook filled with words. My laptop never closed. I listened, I repeated, I wrote. Day after day. In the morning, my husband left for work. He always asked, what will you study today? At night, over dinner, I told him what I learned. He was happy. Not just because I was learning, but because I looked stronger. Some days were hard. Sometimes I opened my laptop and closed it again. Sometimes I didn't understand. Sometimes I cried. But I didn't stop. Because this wasn't just about a job. It was about me. It was about becoming stronger. It was about believing in myself. One evening, I made some tea. I didn't study. I just sat by the window. The room was quiet. I looked at my notebook. I didn't open it, but I smiled. That notebook held my effort, my journey, my small steps. I closed my eyes and said, you did your best. That's enough. The next morning, I looked at the calendar. One word was there, interview. I didn't feel fear. I didn't feel nervous. I felt calm.